Again, looking at scenes here, more on the development we were just talking about. These are some of the seriously wounded Palestinians who are being taken into Egypt for treatment. Dozens of ambulances crossed into Gaza along with aid trucks this morning. The number now is as many as 88 patients are being taken out. This evacuation going on as the World Health Organization puts out a fresh warning about the collapsing healthcare system in Gaza. The WHO today saying only a third of hospitals are still opening, and of those, the majority are struggling to deal with the wounded. They've had to critically scale back their services. Susan Ormiston, also part of our CBC News team, and she has more on what it's like inside Gaza for the 2 million Palestinians who cannot leave the territory.
They're still dealing with rationing of supplies. We know fresh water is particularly difficult to get. Bread lines are long, up to 6 hours, we were told yesterday. So it's still, the situation is grim. They don't have enough supplies. We are seeing an uptick, Heather, in the number of trucks going through the Rafah crossing the other direction from this morning. Up to 36 trucks now. That may continue. It appears to be a trend now that more and more are getting through. Of course, aid agencies say they need at least 100 trucks a day to barely service the needs of over 2 million people. And Israel is continuing its penetration into Gaza, particularly in and around Gaza City in the north. We know there have been repeated airstrikes this morning into that area. So the war is continuing. Forces are on the ground and people are trapped, waiting to see where this develops.
We've also heard from Israel the number of targets since the war began, 11,000, and a confirmation from Israel's military, Susan, that it did hit that refugee camp, Jabalia, the largest inside Gaza, with an airstrike. According to officials in Gaza, there are many dead and wounded. So what is the latest in terms of the incident itself and its potential repercussions today?
Well, there will be repercussions. That's exactly it. We're hearing now from Saudi Arabia and from Qatar that this is extremely complicating the situation there, that it may affect mediation efforts or efforts to de-escalate this conflict. Doctors Without Border, the latest agency to say that this was senseless violence and calling for a ceasefire, which so far Israel has rejected. The director of a hospital there, plus emergency services, are now saying that there are perhaps hundreds of injured or dead from that airstrike on the refugee camp. Israel had a rare news conference by Zoom last night at midnight local time here to explain to reporters that they took out a command center of Hamas in that area, and during that blast, we're told perhaps 6 strikes, a whole apartment block collapsed, and that's what caused these injuries. We don't know how many people are buried under that rubble, but it really is having reverberating around the Arab world as they see this continuing death toll in Gaza climbing. We should have more information about Jabalia and some better indication of what the toll was there later in the day.
Senior correspondent Susan Ormiston from Jerusalem this morning.